A purebred dog is getting compliments from a group of people for her beauty, but they make fun of her mixed-breed puppy. The owner picks up the mixed breed named Inu and promises to hug and sleep with her every day. Inu feels a deep love for her owner. As time passes, Inu grows and becomes almost as big as her mother. One day, her owner looks down and realizes Inu isn't a purebred. Inu continues to think about how much she loves her owner. When it's time to go out to eat, the owner tells Inu to sit. The owner's mother asks her why she doesn't take Inu out anymore. Inu's owner explains that because she's a mixed breed, people will laugh at her. She reassures herself that she'll bring Inu some food later. A few months later, a moving truck is seen getting ready to leave. The parents tell their child that she can take the dogs with her. She pulls her hand from her pocket and tells Inu to sit. As she drives off with the purebred, she leaves Inu behind. Inu thinks to herself, "Don't worry, Mom, I'm great at staying put. Why is Mom acting like that all of a sudden? I've stayed so many times before. What's different about this time?" We can see the condition of Inu and can assume a lot of time has passed. She is skinny, dirty, but yet, she hasn't moved off the spot she was told to sit at by her owner. Inu thinks to herself that the sky keeps getting dark and wonders why her owner hasn't come back yet. Some people try to feed Inu, but she thinks that they are robbers trying to break into her home. Inu lies down in the cold night and sniffs her scarf. It reminds her of her owner who abandoned her. We are now at school and the teacher announces that they have a new transfer student. Do ask if it's a girl, and the teacher nods his head, which gets the guys very excited. But as soon as they see who is standing in the doorway, they all slump in their seats, silent. The girl's name is Crystal Choi. Daniel wonders to himself why a transfer student would come just before the winter vacation. She scans the room and identifies the cool girls group. She keeps looking and finds the unpopular girls group, where she plans to sit with. As she puts her bag down, she spots the cool guys group as well. Daniel looks at Crystal and she reminds him of his other body, who always gets bullied, so he decides to get friendly with her to try to prevent any of that. He says hi to her. He introduces himself as Daniel and tells Crystal that he also transferred to the school a few months ago. "We live in the same area, it seems, so it's nice to meet you," says Daniel. "I hate handsome guys," thinks Crystal. Crystal reflects on how often she's faced humiliation disguised as kindness. With a forced smile, she thanks Daniel. Zach notices the three guys and warns them not to tease Crystal. Do and his friends feel uneasy, questioning when Zach started acting nice. As the school day wraps up, Crystal walks home alone. She hears barking and spots three guys tormenting a thin, abandoned dog. Inu growls at them, determined to protect her home. Mary steps in, questioning why they're hurting the dog and why they aren't with Zach. Do explains that Zach has been acting strange lately, so they went off on their own. He lights a cigarette, ready to burn Inu's sensitive nose, but before he can, Crystal intervenes, shielding Inu from the group. "Stop bothering the poor dog," she demands. Vinjin sneers, asking who she is, and says that she smells bad, but Crystal stands her ground. Inu starts biting at her leg. Crystal thinks to herself about how much she despises people who look down on others. Just as things are about to escalate, Daniel arrives and asks Crystal if everything is okay. She looks up at him, while Vinjin and Do start to sweat as Daniel questions them about the situation. He then turns his attention back to Crystal, inviting her to come closer. The next day, we see Crystal struggling with a stack of heavy papers. Zach and Yui are chatting behind her, and Yui asks Zach if he can lend a hand. He reminds her that both of his arms are in casts. Just then, Crystal accidentally trips and is about to fall, but Zach manages to catch her just in time. "You know my hands are like this, so don't get mad," Zach says. Daniel approaches to help out and asks Crystal if she made it home okay, suggesting they head home together today. "Please don't be nice to me." Crystal suddenly replies, "I appreciate it, but your kindness could complicate things for me." Daniel pauses, trying to grasp what she means. Meanwhile, some girls across the hallway shoot Crystal intimidating looks as she walks away with Zach and Daniel. Yui suspects that Crystal is just pretending to be weak to hang out with the guys. Crystal opens her book, revealing that some students have scribbled all over it. At lunchtime, she's keeping to herself when a group of unpopular girls approaches and dumps their unwanted broiled fish onto her plate. Yui also joins in, adding her own fish to the pile. She reflects on how differently boys and girls bully each other. Boys tend to do it openly to assert dominance, while girls often resort to secretive tactics, revealing their true colors only in private spaces like bathrooms. As the school day wraps up, Crystal is once again spending time with Inu. She glances down at her belly and realizes that Inu is pregnant. Feeling a mix of concern and compassion, she wants to take the dog home, but Inu won't move. Instead of giving the sausage in her hand to Inu, she ends up biting Crystal's arm. Suddenly, she hears a voice behind her and sees Daniel standing there. He tells her he was worried about the dog and brought some food for her. He then asks Crystal if she's also concerned about Inu. Crystal thinks it's odd that this handsome guy seems to care about dogs. She scolds Daniel for only bringing food, since Inu needs water too. Crystal shares Inu's story about how she ended up abandoned on the streets without anyone to look after her. Daniel thinks to himself that Crystal is really compassionate as she tries to coax Inu into eating. He recalls earlier that day when Crystal told him not to be nice to her and wonders why she said that. Scratching his head, he asks her what she meant back then. Crystal thanks Daniel for all his help and explains that, like Inu, she knows how to fight and survive on her own. Crystal confidently declares, "I'm not as weak as you think." She says that if someone keeps offering her support, she might start depending on them. Daniel is taken aback by her words, thinking to himself that she's way tougher than he is. Suddenly, his heart races. Later that day, we hear Crystal talking to herself about the events that unfolded. Her clothes are strewn on the floor next to the shower as she ponders who Daniel really is and why he's pretending to be nice. What a hassle, she thinks. Now the other girls will start targeting me because of him. The scene shifts to reveal that Crystal is in a different body. Is Daniel not the only one with the ability to change forms? She questions why she was advised to keep an eye on him. Glancing over, she sees her other body asleep in bed. Picking up her phone, she notices 87 missed calls from guys eager to chat. She throws on her jacket, slips into her shoes, and heads out to live her real life at night. Gunn is leaning against a car, clearly frustrated about having to wait for Crystal top of the massive mountain. He reminds her that the president is waiting for her. Crystal finally steps out of her gate, apologizing for oversleeping. Gunn teases her, asking if she sleeps all day since it seems like she gets at least 12 hours of rest. Crystal brushes it off, claiming she just needs a lot of sleep. It turns out her father, the president, is the only one who knows about her secret of switching bodies. During a meeting, a group of guys introduces themselves, all blushing a bit. After the meeting wraps up, a father and son approach her, handing over their contact information. They run a powerful law firm and offer their help if she ever needs it. Crystal can't help but think that all these fancy business cards made from eggshells are just typical of men, as she glares at the two in front of her. On their way back to her mountain house, Gunn playfully teases Crystal about how the son from the law firm seemed quite fond of her. She dismisses it, saying they only care about her looks and not who she really is inside. Crystal decides to hop out of the car early to jog the last stretch of the journey to burn some calories, but while running, she remembers Inu and takes a detour. As she runs, she ponders why her father wants her to keep an eye on Daniel from school. She wonders if he has some special talent like hers or the other guys, but doubts it, thinking he's probably just another guy who only likes pretty girls. When she finally reaches Inu's spot, she's surprised to find Daniel from the convenience store squatting in front of the dog, trying to coax Inu into eating something. Crystal says hi to Daniel and asks how he knows about Inu. Daniel explains that he heard some barking coming from the convenience store, so he decided to check it out. They chat for a bit, and Crystal surprises him by revealing that they're the same age. Daniel mentions that Inu is pregnant and that he's trying to help her gain some weight. Crystal is impressed by Daniel's thoughtfulness and kindness, thinking to herself how caring he is. She recalls all the times she saw him working out at the convenience store and remembers her own journey of self-improvement. Crystal suggests they work out together since she enjoys it too, and it would be a great way to get to know each other better. Daniel is taken aback. He's never been asked to work out by such a beautiful woman before, and wonders if she's up to something like a pyramid scheme or an organ business. He also thinks back to when he offered to help her, but she turned him down, wanting to handle things on her own. Daniel thinks to himself, I want to be like her. I need to be strong. He appreciates Crystal's offer, but politely turns it down, expressing his desire to tackle his challenges on his own. He echoes a phrase Crystal once said while in her pig form, leaving her momentarily speechless. Wow, he thinks like I do. Who is this guy? Crystal wonders, feeling her heart race unexpectedly. Just then, a voice calls out for Daniel, breaking the moment. It's Zoe, letting him know the store is locked and asking how long he's kept her waiting outside. She grabs his hand and leads him toward the convenience store, glancing back at Crystal, who is blushing slightly. The next day, Inu is preparing for childbirth, sensing that the babies are ready to arrive. She realizes someone has taken her scarf and worries about how she'll protect the house after giving birth. Shivering from the cold, she hopes no one will start trouble with her again. Just then, a dark figure appears from around the corner. Inu starts barking fiercely to scare off the intruder. The person reaches out their hand and she bites it. "Are you back for something?" Inu thinks anxiously. "Get lost, thief." She keeps attacking the stranger until their hand is covered in blood. The camera shifts up, revealing that the mysterious figure is actually Daniel. He comments that Inu only nibbled on Crystal and wonders if it's because he took her scarf. He builds a cardboard house for Inu, which makes her feel a lot better. He retrieves Inu's scarf and hands it back to her. "Sorry for taking it," he explains. "It was dirty and I didn't want your pups to get sick." Inu is thrilled to have her scarf back in good shape and rolls around in her cardboard box, wagging her tail. Daniel watches from afar as Inu gives birth to 4 adorable puppies, and he couldn't be happier. He approaches her and slides a bowl of seaweed soup her way. As Inu notices the bandages on his hand from her bites, she starts licking the soup, and Daniel jumps for joy, thrilled that she's finally warming up to him. From a distance, we spot Crystal observing the two of them, holding a flask of something. She can't help but smile, knowing that Inu is about to start putting on weight again. Meanwhile, outside the convenience store, a few people are grumbling about how long Daniel has been in the restroom. The following day, Crystal is still in her mature form. The heir of the H law firm wonders if asking her out for a meeting on such short notice is too much to handle. Crystal thinks it's quite a burden, but keeps that to herself. They chat about dull business matters until the law firm heir shifts the conversation and asks for her number. Crystal forces a big smile and tells him maybe another time. His heart races, and Crystal thinks to herself that understanding men is so straightforward. Later that night, she receives a call from the principal's office in her smaller body, inquiring about her recent absences. Crystal tries to brush it off, claiming she's sick. When they ask about her parents, she admits she hasn't been in touch with her mom and that her dad lives far away. They inquire if she has a guardian, and she confirms she does. As the camera shifts to her other body, the next day, she shows up in her mature form and all the boys can't help but blush. A staff member is chatting with Crystal, and he can't help but blush when he sees her, drawing a comparison between her and her twin sister, who also goes to the school. Feeling annoyed after the teacher made that comparison based on their looks, Crystal storms out. As she walks through the hallway, everyone stops to stare at her. Vinjin thinks to himself that he's never seen anyone as beautiful as her. Meanwhile, some girls in Daniel's class start whispering about whether Crystal has been skipping school due to Yui's bullying. Yui, with a scowl, snaps back, "Why are you looking at me? I didn't bully her." Zack then catches her attention, expressing his disappointment, saying he thought she had changed after their incident with her ex-boyfriend at the convenience store. This surprises Yui. A few guys in the class stand up for her, but Zack quickly shuts them down, insisting they shouldn't be fawning over a girl. Mia chimes in, asking Zack if he's about to start another fight, but he brushes it off, claiming he has no clue what she's talking about. The supporters of Yui fire back, pointing out that he's doing exactly what he told them not to do. Suddenly, a box full of burgers is dumped on the teacher's desk. Crystal then reveals that she's actually Crystal's sister. Daniel finally remembers where he's seen her before, at the convenience store. Zoe thinks to herself that she recalls seeing her with Daniel just a few days ago. Crystal locks her eyes on Yui, and with irritation asks her not to disturb her twin when she returns to school. Yui avoids looking at her and feigns innocence, claiming she has no clue what Crystal is talking about. Daniel shoots a disapproving look at Crystal, thinking she's being pretty rude to someone she just met. Noticing Daniel's glare, Crystal shoots one back, recalling how she warned him not to let his looks inflate his ego during the auction at the festival. She figures Daniel's pride is bruised because of her, while Daniel reflects on how she used to be nice to his other self. It seems like the two body switchers are at odds. Meanwhile, we check in with Inu and her crew, who have all put on some weight and look quite healthy. Daniel sets down a bowl of dog food for the dogs and says, "I have to head to work. I'll be back later," as he waves goodbye. Inu remembers her previous owner saying the same thing. The pups dash after Daniel, and Inu barks for them to return, knowing they should wait for their old owner, but she can't help but see how much they enjoy Daniel's company. Inu grabs her scarf and heads over to Daniel. "I'm sorry, my owner, your scent is fading. I have to stay here, but can I wait with him?" She leaves her spot and follows Daniel home. A few months later, Daniel is feeling anxious about managing the expenses of raising 4 puppies and their mother all on his own. Zack suggests that Daniel consider putting them up for adoption. Daniel replies that he wants to find someone he can visit regularly, so Zach proposes giving them to Jay. However, Daniel hesitates, not wanting to impose on him. The next day, we see 4 adorable puppies dressed in stylish outfits. Jay's butler questions him about his sudden decision to adopt 4 puppies, especially since he's not fond of dogs. We then flash back to Jay offering to take care of the dogs for Daniel. Daniel expresses his gratitude, and we can see a smile spread across Jay's face.